Hey everyone, this is Abel in Vegas, and today I wanted to do a follow-up video to my live stream just to dive a little bit deeper into this new COPPA requirement that YouTube has implemented, and talk a little bit about how it possibly may affect our hobby community with regards to baseball, football, basketball cards. So let's get into it. So if you don't know much about this COPPA, I encourage you to go do some research. But pretty much YouTube back in September, and Google for that matter, came to an agreement with the FTC because the FTC had argued that YouTube violated the COPPA Act by collecting personal information in the form of persistent identifiers that track users across internet on child-directed channels in order to be able to then market to them. In the complaint, the FTC and the New York Attorney General alleged that while YouTube channels tend to be geared to a general audience, some of the YouTube individual channels, such as those operated by toy companies, are child-directed and therefore must comply with COPPA. YouTube went as far as claiming to toy makers that YouTube is the #1 website regularly visited by kids. So for this reason, they ended up paying $150 million as a settlement fee to the FTC and the New York Attorney General combined. But in that settlement, that led to some changes that YouTube had to implement as part of this settlement, and those have now begun pushing out to us, the users, and basically these changes that YouTube implemented basically say, hey, here's as much as we can do as YouTube to kind of monitor the situation and to then going forward prevent advertising on content that is geared for kids. It's up to now you, the creators, to identify your content as child-directed or not. Now, YouTube has not provided a definition for what they consider kid-friendly content. You actually have to go to the FTC and look at their guidance to determine what is kid-friendly. So what does the FTC say about COPPA and the guidance regarding what is child content? So according to the FTC's guidance on COPPA, a video is child-directed, which we call made for kids, if children are the primary audience based on the factors described below. Now, if children are not primary audience, but the video is still directed to children based on the factors below. So just because you do a video, that you feel is for adults, if it somehow is appealing to kids, that can be considered directed to a child. So it's automatically child content if the subject matter of the video is either educational content for preschoolers. So it's good to note here too, I forgot to mention this, but according to COPPA, a child is anybody under the age of 13. 2, whether children are your intended or actual audience of the video. So if you do a piece of content that you say it's for the adults, but yet a lot of the kids are watching your content, then that turns out to be child-directed. Whether the video includes child actors or models. So if you have a kid in your video, then that is child-directed. Whether the video includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children, including animated characters or cartoon figures. So I'm going to stop here before I'll go on, because this is to me where the gray area when it becomes to the baseball card world or the hobby as to whether our content is child directed. So we could do a video where we get PSA cards back in the mail, that when we could talk about, you know, here's a $1,000 card, for example. So is that, when we talk about high dollar cards, if kids can't afford them, is our content child directed? When we're talking more about the collection or the collectability of a card. If you look at the Magic cover, right here, it says age 13 plus. So something like Magic the Gathering is already a product that is aimed towards an audience of 13 plus. So, but however, do you think that a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, or maybe even younger might be interested in something of Magic? So will they watch a video about Magic the Gathering? If they do, that could be considered child directed, even though the packaging says 13 plus. If you look at items done by Panini, they also have, so if you look here at Fortnite, down here at the very bottom, and I don't know if I'll be able to zoom into this properly, but right here at the bottom it says that this product is intended for ages 9 plus. And if you look at a blaster box of Panini, here at the very bottom, which is also hard to see because it's in white letters, but they also say that this is something that they consider for ages 9 plus. So 9 is less than 13. So does that mean that baseball cards is considered a toy by the FTC? So we need to think differently. At least this is why I'm concerned. If you look at Topps, all of Topps products, and this one is very hard to see because it's so tiny, but down here, this Topps says it's intended for ages 6 plus. All right, here's a hobby box. All right, right here, ages 6 plus. And I just don't have the lighting to be able to maybe what I'll do is I'll snap some pictures and I could overlay these pictures over the content. Maybe I'll do that. Then you have channels. So one of the channels that I was watching where they talked about this, and what got me more in depth that I wanted to go into this, was people that have like Lego channels, and they talk about, well, we do Legos and we'll buy this $500 release of Legos that's intended for adults, but because it is a Lego and Lego is a toy, then that becomes a child directed video because of the Lego aspect of it. There's people that have channels just on Funko Pops. If you look at the very bottom, it's going to be hard to see, but they have a little thing here in the corner where their Funko is intended for ages 3 plus. So if we talk about Funko Pops, does that mean it's child related content? I didn't buy this for me as a toy. This is a LeBron James, it's a collectible, but yet it's a Funko Pop. So therein lies the conundrum for our channels, is whether, you know, do we need to now label our channel, our content as child directed just because these products are considered as toys? If you go onto, I went onto Target and type in Topps just to see what they say, and sure, even online, Topps, on the Target for a product from Topps, it says age 6 plus. So let's continue with the definition. Whether the language of the video is intended for children to understand. Again, when I talk about all my videos, I don't curse in my videos just because that's another aspect of YouTube, where if your channels include certain language, then they're mature, so I just don't do it. But does that mean since I don't use any type of bad language, so is it now related for kids? It's up for interpretation. Whether the video includes activities that appeal to children, such as play acting, simple songs or games, or early education. Again, because our baseball cards are considered toys, Does that mean it goes under a game? Very vague. Does the video include songs, stories, or poems for children, or any other information you may have to determine your video's audience? And here's the big thing is, YouTube is no longer pretty much responsible for what you put out there. They're putting tools in place to help them determine whether your content is for kids or not for kids. And based on that selection, it's going to determine how they put ads. So if you create a video and you're a monetized channel and you want to get that ad revenue, and you say, no, my content is not intended for kids, but yet once the FTC starts looking at your videos, which is something that they said they're going to start doing because they'll go after each individual creator, then that's where then you are responsible as a creator, and the fine is $42,000 for every video you have that you mislabeled, which I do not have that kind of funds, and I don't want to run the risk of having that action taken against me or my channel. What if my content is applicable to a wide audience but not kids specifically? As a creator, you know your content best. So if you intended to reach a kid audience, then it's likely that your video is made for kids. If you're not sure about your audience, take a look at the features of your video. Does it have actors, characters, activities, games, songs, or stories that kids are particularly attracted to? Then if so, your video may be directed to kids. And that means if it has any of that aspects, then you must comply with COPPA. So what does this mean for my channel? The only thing I can do is protect myself. I'm not an attorney, so I can't tell how you guys should do your channels. The only thing I can do is protect my channel. I think this is definitely, these changes will have an adverse effect on our channels. But at least for me, I am going to now, because baseball cards do tend to say that they're for ages, whether it be Topps 6+ or Panini 9+, there's the potential there that the FTC could say, hey, baseball cards or the hobby are considered toys, so we need to go after these people for not being in compliance with COPPA. So I'm going to change, and my videos are now going to be, I'm going to put them on the label for intended for kids. My channel 1 is not monetized, so I already don't see revenue from that. So my channel is not going to be affected monetarily based on less revenue for ads coming in. Where it is going to be affected is the fact that now, once this goes into effect on January 1st, I'm not going to be able to see comments. You won't be able to, if you have the notification for my videos, you won't be notified. If you do subscribe, they will be on your subscription feed. But those videos will not pop up a notification to tell you, hey, I just uploaded a video. The biggest also change now is that the videos will not be able to go into a playlist, which is bad because I have, depending on the video that comes in, I have several playlists that I like to keep track of, either, you know, my Filmington box breaks for the Rookie Explosion box, or my PSA submission reviews. I create a playlist just to have those on playlists. So anything that has kid-related content won't be able to be put into a playlist. And why is that? Because the playlist can be considered data that Google could use based on what you name it to then advertise to you. So that's why that's going away. The one question I still have that I have not been able to answer is our videos going to be searchable? So even if I create a video that I deem is kid friendly, if it's, you know, a Topps Mega Box, if you search Topps Mega Box, is that still going to come to you? Because if not, the only people who are then going to be able to view your channel is your subscribers, if your YouTube is not able to be searchable. I understand they put videos based on the algorithm higher than others. So that's the only question I still have about being able to find your video. So even so right now, the people who already have over 1,000 subscribers, you are a better advantage at continuing to have people look at your content. And like I said, on my channel, I've never been somebody to just keep say, hey, subscribe to my channel. The subscriber count really didn't matter to me, much more just doing my contact or my content. And that way, if you like what you see, then you could subscribe on your own. I'm not going to be out there saying, oh, subscribe. This is going to change too the way we do contests, because now I won't have comments. So I can't say, oh, leave a comment. Or if you do a video, leave the link to the video in that description. So we might have to start thinking differently about how we do that kind of stuff. And then the other thing too is you might say, well, why don't we switch platforms? A lot of people are saying, you know, oh, we kind of have to switch, but COPA is something that's has to be done by everybody. So, you know, eventually I think changes are going to come to Instagram. Instagram is big also on ads. So depending how you do things, they're going to have to change too, how they do things. I know there's revenue in Facebook. So eventually COPA is going to come to Facebook too. So anyway, changes are coming, but we just have to adjust with them, and then hopefully even with the adjustment, people still get to see your channel, and then hopefully maybe we'll just have to come out with an alternative. One of the things I'm probably going to be looking at, because I see some other people are using it, is maybe creating a Discord server for chat, and maybe we could just chat about our hobby there. I believe, or at least you have the ability to allow certain people into those. So if maybe we could just create a group of people who are just over 18, so that way we could talk freely and not worry about being in compliance with the kids' laws. But obviously we'll just have to find a way, work around them. So those are some of the changes that I'll be making to my channel, but that's just me for my protection, because that's the only thing I can control is what I put out there. So if you stuck this long, thanks for watching, and I'll be recording today some more videos for some other content, because I have cards in the mail now, something cool from Topps for those hockey people, which I think is pretty cool. So thanks guys, and catch you later.